What's up everyone, welcome to my channel again. And today I'm going to start a new series, which is how to drive a manual. Well, at first I'm going to touch some simple stuff like how to move a car, how to shift gear, and then in future I'm going to do something like how to do heel and toe and all those stuff. I mean, those things are not only useful on racetrack, it is also useful on the road, around the city, around the street. So as you can see, I have set up 3 different cameras, which this one is my usual one, and then there is one at my tachometer, and then there's another one at my foot. And well, with this different camera, I can show you how to drive a manual. And also, if you realize, the clutch noise is still there. I mean, you can clearly hear the clicking noise of the clutch. It is still there. Well, it is not a big deal, but the part is already ordered and just waiting for the parts to come. So if you want to know what really happened, you can watch my last video. And so now, let's go to some empty space and I'll show you the first step in the manual car. So the first thing you see inside a manual car is, how come you cannot start the engine? I mean, my engine is already start, but let's turn off the engine for now. I mean, if you want to start the car, let me grab the camera for you. Alright, see, if you want to start the car, you realize it cannot be started. Well, it is a safety features which every manual car have, which is you need to step the clutch first, and then you can start the car. And this is a Proton features, which is when your car is already start, the initial switch disable by itself, so you won't overcrank your engine and create the unpleasant noise. So next thing is, make sure your car is in free, and then you release the clutch. And this is how you start the car, because a lot of people who try to move my car just give the key back to me and say, hey, your car got some problem, it cannot be start. Well, it is a safety that you need to press the clutch. Much like your automatic car, you need to press the brake in order to start the car. It is just a safety issues. And next, I'm going to talk about something that you shouldn't do in a manual car. And if you realize, I always drive my car with my foot on the left side of the pedal, which is an empty space, or just in front of the pedal, which is also an empty space. I rarely rest my foot there unless there is uncertainty that I'm going to step the clutch or not. So most of the time, I'm not resting my leg on the clutch pedal. My leg is not even touching the clutch pedal, even when the traffic is jammed. So why you don't rest your foot on the clutch pedal? Well, because if you put your foot there, you find it that you actually pressing a little bit of clutch. If you keep resting your leg on the clutch will wear out prematurely. Like in less than 10 years, maybe your clutch is already wear out. And next is, if you put your leg there, your mind just thinking that, oh, I want to step it, and then that will cause very uncomfort on your left leg. That's also why a lot of people complain about leg pain on a manual car. Well, because you put your leg there, and your mind always constantly thinking that I need to step the clutch, I need to step the clutch. Actually, you don't need, you just rest your foot there. And next, do not half press the clutch. The clutch is only fully pressed or fully released. And then in between there is a point, some call it a biting point, some call it a braking point, whatever, just there is a point there. The important thing is there is a point there. So in most of the time, do not press your clutch halfway, like resting on that point or whatever. Do not press it halfway. Either fully press or fully release. So in a manual car, when you step the clutch, you find a point that where the engine and the transmission just meet. I mean, there is a point, some call it a biting point, some call it a braking point, whatever, it is that point that you need to remember. So now, let's put the car in first, and then I'll leave my handbrakes on, and I slowly release the clutch, and you realize there's a point like in this point, the car start to like vibrate the car starts to like wanted to move, and you need to remember that point. The point is different from car to car, so like on this Persona is like this part of the clutch, and on the Kanchil is like this part of the clutch. So it is very different from car to car. Depends on how they configure the clutch pedal. That point is very important because how familiar you to the point of the clutch is will affect how smooth you're driving your manual car. So to move a car, you press the clutch, move into first, and then you release the clutch quickly until that point, and then you press a little bit of throttle, or you don't press the throttle also can, and then you slowly release the clutch from that point onwards. So it is like a motion. You press the clutch, and this is the point, this is fully released. You press the clutch, and then you release until that point, and then you press a little bit of throttle, slowly release the clutch. This is how you move a manual car. Let me show you an example. Press the clutch, move into first, of course, release the handbrake and press the brake. And then, because my car have a hill hold assist, so I can actually release the brake and the car won't move backward for 2 seconds. And then you just release the clutch until that point, and you see the car start to move, and then you slowly release. And then you can press the throttle. And if you are familiar enough, you can just press the throttle while you are at that point. And on every gear change, it is also the same. You just press the clutch, change the gear, and then release to that point, and then press the throttle, slowly release until fully released. So this is actually how you move a manual car. It is actually simple, but a lot of people don't tell you about that point. So you need to familiarize with the point. Normally when I step in a manual car, don't care what car am I stepping in, as long as it is a manual car, I'll shift to the first gear or the reverse gear and try to play with the clutch without pressing the throttle to know where the point is. And after I know where the point is, I can drive any manual car smoothly. So now I'm going to some uphill part, and I'm going to show you how to launch the car on uphill. So as you can see, now I'm at the slightly uphill. So now I'm on the slight uphill. You can see if I release the handbrake and I release the brake, it start to slide downwards. Well, it is not very stiff, because if it is very stiff, my hill assist would help me, and I know a lot of car doesn't have hill assist, so this will be a great example. And now, in order to move a car on a uphill, it's like a multitasking. You release the clutch until that point while you move your leg to the throttle. So it's like at the same time you just do like that. And once your leg are on the throttle, you start to release the clutch from the point onwards slowly while pressing the throttle. So now let's do the moving. Release and go. So let me give you another example. Now I'm on traffic light. So you move to the first, and then you release the clutch until that point while moving the foot to the throttle. And then after that, when you release the clutch slowly, press the throttle slowly, like this. Fully released. Alright, so to add to that, well, if you realize, I put my leg not on the clutch pedal every time I drive the car, every time I'm not pressing the clutch. So this is how you should do if you're driving a manual car, not like this, because you prematurely wear out the clutch. And that's it for today. I hope you find this video informative, and if you like the video, press the like button, and if you haven't, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.